All right, so we're going to go ahead and show you how to do problem number 4 on the chapter 5 quiz. Sarah negotiated a price of $24,910 for a new Toyota Camry hybrid sedan. She's prepared to give a down payment of 17%. Her credit union offered her a 4-year amortization loan for the remaining amount at a rate of 1.85%. So again, I want to write a lot of this stuff down that I have. So we know how much the purchase price is. And that's the $24,910. We know that she's going to do a down payment of 17%. So her actual loan amount is what we have to figure out first. So that is her present value. And our loan amount is going to be that $24,910 minus 17% of that. So I got to go multiply that by 17% so that I can actually find out how much she's actually going to get a loan for. So I take out my calculator, $24,910, and subtract off $24,910 times 0.17. And I get that her loan is actually going to be for $20,675.30. Now, be careful because a lot of times there's extra fees when you go to close the loan. So you might have to figure that part out also when you go to buy a car. Her credit union is giving her a 4-year loan, so that's T is equal to 4 years, and at a rate of 1.85% monthly. It doesn't say that, but your rate always has to be the same as your payments are going to be. So if your payments are monthly, then that would have to be what it is. Now, the problem with this problem is that it doesn't give it in the right order. You really should figure out what your monthly payment is going to be first before you figure out how much money will be paid in interest. So we're going to go ahead and find out your monthly payment first, and then figure out how much will be in interest. So we have to look at our loan formula. Our loan formula is P is equal to payment times 1 minus 1 plus R over N to the minus NT all over R over N. I'm actually going to change this formula just a little bit. I'm going to get payment by itself because usually that's what we want to find. So a lot of times we'll actually give you the payment formula that's written in terms of payment. And that would be P times R over N all over 1 minus 1 plus R over N to the minus NT. And that's what I want to do. I want to find my monthly payment. So what I would do is put my principal in here, my present value, my R, my N, everything would go in here. You figure out what the top is. So you take P times R divided by N, find out what that is. Then you do parentheses. So I actually would put a parenthesis on my calculator, do 1 minus, then put this parenthesis in my calculator, 1 plus R over N, close this parenthesis, minus to the minus R and T, put those in parentheses if you need to, and then close your parenthesis and get your final answer. Again, we're going to go ahead and use a computer program to do this, or your calculator. So I'm going to show you how to do that on your calculator or computer program. TVM solver again. So in this problem, I've got 4 years times 12 months, so 4 times 12. Again, it was already there, but our interest rate is 1.85. Our present value is how much the loan is going to be for. So that was 20675.3. Now, reality, I don't think you'd finance the 30 cents. I think you'd figure out how to pay that off yourself. But future value, we want to have it not have anything left. So we want the future value to be 0. And then payment is what we want to find. So again, I'm going to stick my cursor next to payment, hit the big green button, the alpha button, and hit enter. And there's my monthly payment, $447.20. cents. Now, in reality, because of all this little extra stuff here, I should always round this up. Even though it doesn't look like I should round it up, I should round it up because otherwise I won't get the car paid for in time. So I now know that my payment is $447.20. Oops, let me get a different color here. I'm going to round it up to 21 cents. So now let's go look to see what other things we have. And by the way, you can also use the one online, the program online. It works the exact same way, exact same things you do. You go through the exact same process. You'd put in your present value, which I'd already forgotten what that was. So we put in our present value of 26,000, sorry, $20,675.30. We don't know the payment. The future value we hope to be 0 because that's the whole idea. My interest rate was 1.85, and my periods are again 48. And then I can go find my payment, same exact thing, just click on the 1. And again, this looks like it's exactly rounded to 0. I would probably round it up either way because you won't pay it off otherwise in the end. Okay, so now let's go look to see what the rest of the questions were. So now it wants to know how much money is being paid in interest. Well, this is actually, you don't actually need to use the interest formulas to figure this out. You're paying $447.21 a month. So if you want to find out how much interest you're paying, you're going to take that $447.21 times 12 payments a year times 4 years. That's going to tell you how much you're going to totally pay for the car. And then you want to subtract off how much you actually took the loan out for. So remember, you took a loan out for the 20,000. Then you subtract off the 20,000. I already forgot the number already. It's amazing how fast I can. $675.30. You don't need to do it off the whole price of the car because you didn't finance the whole price of the car. You only financed this much of it. So I find out that this is actually equal to $790.78. So not too bad, but that's how much interest you would pay on it. We also want to know how much will the car cost in total. Well, that would be how much I actually paid for the car, which was this $24,910, added to how much I paid in interest. So what I totally pay isn't all just what I financed, because it's not just this money I financed, but it's also how much I put down. So I'm going to take my $790 that I just found out I paid in interest and add that to the $24,910. So I actually paid $25,700.78 for the car. And let's see, is there any more questions? And then the last question says, if she had gotten a simple interest loan at the same interest rate and time, how much would she have, would she pay in interest? So if we want to do that problem now, we're looking at simple interest formula again. And so now I'm just going to write that formula down. It's way easier to just use that formula from where it is. So it's F is equal to P times 1 plus RT. So we know what her present value of the loan was again. So just the loan, the $20,675. I don't know why I can't say that. 0.30 times 1 plus my interest rate. Remember, my interest rate was 1.85. I do need to make that into a decimal. So 0.0185 times my 4 years. And so then I can find out what this is. And I find out that her future value on simple interest would be $22,205.28. And what they actually want to know in this problem is how much would she pay in interest? So now you just subtract off, your interest would just be subtracting off how much she started with. So again, it's just on the loan amount that you subtract off here, because you're not taking interest on the actual the price of the car. So she would pay $1,500 basically, almost $30 in interest if she got a simple interest loan. All right, now the last problem I want to talk about is question 5, and question 5 is if you can afford to borrow $360,000 and you have enough saved to put down 15%, what is the maximum home price you can afford? So this is a problem we're going to do. We're going to look again, start off with just kind of writing things down we have. So we happen to have how much our loan is. And that's going to be $360,000. And we can put down 15% down payment. Let's write that in quickly. And that's going to be 15%. So when you go to do this, and I can make this a little bit bigger because we don't need anything else at this moment. What you got to think about is your house you can buy is actually going to equal your loan plus your down payment. Your down payment is actually 15% times the house price. So I have house, the price of the house is equal to the loan plus 0.15 times the house. So now we just have a little bit of algebra to do here. I notice I have house on both sides of the equation. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract house from the 0.15 house from both sides of the equation. And what I now have is I have one house minus 0.015 house, which is 0.85 house, is equal to the loan. And so now that I have all that, I can actually solve for the house by dividing the loan amount by 0.85. So again, my loan amount was $360,000. And I'm going to divide that $360,000 by the 0.85. And I find out that she can actually buy a house that's worth $423,529.41. Now, granted, you probably wouldn't look for a house exactly that price, but that's what you could afford.